What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another NBA video and, discussion video to kind of go over with you guys. This time actually revolving around Lamelo Ball yet again, with it currently being a lot of interest with Lamelo Ball all around the NBA. Multiple NBA teams, of course. We've heard so many, previously the Cleveland Cavaliers had interested in him, even though they've got a couple guards. The Toronto Raptors recently just reported being interested in him. Golden State Warriors as well. So many teams are interested in Lamelo Ball and are trying to make kind of him fit around with their team and trying to see if he does fit in their team and all that type of stuff. And another team that we've known have been interested in Lamelo Ball for quite a while now have kind of just reconfirmed that they will be very interested in Lamelo Ball when the draft does obviously come around. And this time it is actually the New York Knicks. Now, I definitely think we kind of expected this would be a pretty big kind of conversation, especially considering New York need a point guard so badly. But for those of you who haven't heard as well, the New York Knicks were kind of looking at Chris Paul, and I think Chris Paul would be a very good player for the Knicks, especially considering he is a veteran in the locker room, and he has helped out OKC so much. Look, I don't care that his contract is so bad. Knicks fans don't care. Most Knicks fans as well don't care that his contract is that bad. If you can get Chris Paul's guidance and leadership and have what he did with the Oklahoma City Thunder, then you would take that overpaid contract, just because he has changed the OKC's team so much. They looked like people were saying they were going to finish, bottom 3 seed. I kind of thought they were going to make the playoffs because I knew CP3 was a very good player. Danilo Gallinari as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a lot of experience, not a lot of experience, sorry, but had a lot of potential. I think that could have been a very good thing. Obviously, yeah, they're currently one of the best teams in the West right now and could definitely be a contenders when the playoffs does come around. So, again, that could be a very interesting thing to sign the factor on. Do the New York Knicks want Chris Paul, or do they want Lamelo Ball, or will they take both, which is still a option that could potentially happen. They could trade for Chris Paul, and they could also, potentially try and draft Lamelo Ball. Now, it's currently being reported that the Knicks will potentially trade up in the draft to land Lamelo Ball. This is obviously if they do fall down in the lottery, and again, the lottery is crazy. Anything can really happen. Sometimes teams can be super unlucky, sometimes teams can be relatively lucky, and yeah, anything can really happen. And again, New York could fall down, or they could go up and rise and get into that top 5. Because currently, right now, I believe they're actually the 6th seed, which I didn't know. I thought they were one of the, bottom 5, but apparently they're the 6th seed. So, again, this is being reported by Chad Ford. So, it's obviously a confirmed thing. New York Knicks definitely want Lamelo Ball at this point. There's been a couple other point guards, it looks like, as well. They've been kind of rumored to kind of be, interested in, such as Killian Hayes, etc. Theo Maledon as well. There's an RJ Hampton rumor that's going around. So many rumors on, players that the New York Knicks could potentially be interested in. I almost think that if they were to trade to get Chris Paul, it could almost just be an idea to trade down the draft and just select a point guard such as Theo Maledon or Killian Hayes or RJ Hampton. And RJ Hampton's the one I really like. I will talk about it in a different video on the New York Knicks being interested in RJ Hampton. But again, he's a player I think would be really cool to kind of learn from Chris Paul and be that backup point guard for the season and just play 20 to 25 minutes per game and learn from Chris Paul and maybe even have him on the court at the same time. It's just that if you get Lamelo Ball, you kind of have to start Lamelo Ball. Like, it just literally be kind of disrespectful to draft a player such as Lamelo Ball's, caliber in the top 5 and not start him. That would be a very interesting thing, considering if he went to a team such as Detroit, he would probably be playing 30 to 35 minutes a night as almost their best player in his first season, in his first couple of games, because Detroit obviously in a bit of a problem. I mean, they might be trading away Derrick Rose. Blake Griffin's got a lot of injuries, and they don't really have too much players, good quality players other than that. And I think Lamelo would be a very interesting player for the Pistons. And yeah, I think it'd just be kind of dishonorable to really bring Lamelo Ball off the bench, especially for the whole season if you got Chris Paul as well. So again, does this kind of block out all those rumors of the Knicks being interested in Chris Paul? Well, honestly, I think no, because even though Lamelo Ball is not exactly that great when he plays shooting guard, especially if you guys have seen him play shooting guard with the Illawarra Hawks in the NBL, he definitely plays a lot better with the ball in his hands. This is why I don't know if I like to fit with him in Atlanta Hawks, but maybe him with Chris Paul would be a little bit of an interesting thing, because we've seen Chris Paul play a lot without the ball at OKC and at the Houston Rockets, and he still put up his, decent amount of assists and decent amount of points per game. So I think that he would be that more off-ball player, and I think Lamelo Ball would be the one to kind of have the ball quite a bit more than what Chris Paul would have. So I think it could actually really work, and we've definitely seen that Lamelo Ball can guard the shooting guard position. So it's not like that's really too much of a concern. You'd obviously prefer him to guard the point guard position, but again, with him and Chris Paul, I think that would also be an interesting thing if they were to kind of get both of them as well. Now, if they don't get Chris Paul, then they would either have, a player maybe such as whoever they sign at shooting guard, or they could maybe play RJ Barrett at shooting guard. I don't know if they would really consider that or really do that. But of course, Lamelo Ball to the Knicks, I think, it almost is like too perfect to really happen in the end, because New York need that player. They need that savior. They need that big name recruit to come into their team and save them. They haven't had a player like that in absolutely years. Like, the last big name recruit to kind of save the New York Knicks and revive them is probably Carmelo Anthony, and he was a player they actually, traded for. I can't really remember a player they've really drafted in the last 10 or so years that have really kind of saved them. I mean, one of the last really good players that they've actually, drafted, a couple that come to mind: Iman Shumpert, Kristaps Porzingis, RJ Barrett's been pretty decent so far. But again, they've had some stinkers of draft picks as well, and I honestly think that Lamelo Ball is the man. He is destined to be in the spotlight. Whether that's at the Detroit Pistons or the New York Knicks, I really don't know, and I think it would be really cool to see maybe New York potentially have Lamelo Ball. And yeah, again, if they trade up to get him, I think that would be honestly really nice. And yeah, something that, again, whether you like New York or not, this is a pretty smart decision by them. And if they do want to trade for Chris Paul, that would still be a pretty nice double combination, a really nice backcourt as well of Chris Paul and Lamelo Ball, and something that I definitely could potentially see. Now, there are a couple other teams that looks like will be interested in Lamelo Ball when the draft does come. We obviously know the Toronto Raptors, the Detroit Pistons will probably be interested, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks, etc. It goes on. A lot of teams are, they are very interested in Lamelo Ball, and I'm definitely really keen to see how he is going to go with whatever team he really gets drafted to. If it will be the starting point guard or the starting shooting guard, or even if he might get a position, the six-man role or something like that. Again, I'm definitely really interested, but obviously, of course, I would really like to hear your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. What team do you guys think is going to draft Lamelo Ball? Do you guys think he will play backup in his first season, or will he start? Will he start at shooting guard? Will he start at point guard? What teams do you guys think will draft Lamelo Ball? Again, I definitely would really like to know your thoughts and opinions. And what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on the New York Knicks being interested in Lamelo Ball? Is he the man to save the Knicks and New York? Again, I definitely would really like to know your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlogging channel. Check out my podcast if you haven't already. And of course, just subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA content and news and videos like this. Again, I definitely would really like to know what your thoughts and opinions are on this stuff all down below. So as I was saying, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.